We're told both men will be accompanied by their wives when they go out to dinner later tonight in New York City. Let's bring in our political panel to discuss this and a whole lot more. Jeffrey Toobin, let me go to you first. He tweeted this morning: nobody should be allowed to burn the American flag. If they do, there must be consequences, perhaps loss of citizenship or a year in jail. What's your reaction to the notion of sending someone to jail or revoking their citizenship if they burn the American flag?
Well, it's kind of doubly unconstitutional. First of all, it's unconstitutional because, as you've mentioned, it is clearly protected speech under the Constitution, and according to two relatively recent Supreme Court opinions, 1980 and 1990. The other way it's unconstitutional is the court has said you cannot, as a penalty, take away someone's citizenship. You can put people in prison, you can execute them, you can take away their right to vote, but forcing people against their will to surrender their citizenship is not something that's available to the government. I think, you know, Donald Trump is reflecting the views of a lot of people, as he often does. A lot of people don't like the idea that it's legal to burn the flag, but that's been the law of the land for a long time in this country, and it still is. He was reacting,
S.A., to an incident at Hampshire College, a liberal arts college up in New England, protesting his victory. There was some sort of flag burning there. Is he actually that emotional about this? Is he just trying to distract from other sensitive issues that have come up? Because clearly we're all talking about this, right?
Yeah, either way, I don't think what, sensitive college students are doing should be the concern and purview of the president at 6:55 in the morning, and nor should he take those concerns to Twitter. But I think in addition to what Jeffrey was saying, this is particularly disturbing because Donald Trump has a penchant, an impulse, to immediately punish someone that disagrees with him. We've seen that in his discussions of opening up libel laws to sue journalists, banning media outlets that don't cover him effectively, now jailing flag burners. There is such a disconnect between Donald Trump and the underpinning philosophies that make us a pluralistic and democratic society and make us better than the countries he routinely lambastes, Cuba, Iran, and China, where flag burning is illegal.
It's interesting, and you got the personal impact of this, Jeff, last night. You had an excellent report on CNN talking about the accusation from Donald Trump that millions of people voted illegally in the most recent presidential election. Then he went after CNN, went after you with a retweet of sorts. And some are suggesting he simply overreacts and maybe is even undermining some democracy, if you will.
Well, I think that could be the direction he's heading, and I'm not sure that these are completely unrelated things. I mean, this all goes after the First Amendment, and he is, trying to delegitimize people's trust in a lot of things, institutions, the media, other things, with some good reason. There are questions about the media that can be raised by people, no question about it. People don't view the media in high esteem, but trusting it is another thing. So eroding all of these principles, I think he knows exactly what he's doing here, because obviously down the line, if he delegitimizes things, then it makes it easier for him. But I'm sort of struck here by how he, has so much else to do. Boy, he's filling a cabinet. A pretty good clip here. He spends time going after supporters on Twitter, and I'm struck by it's been 21 days since he's had a rally. During the campaign, we saw him sort of re-energized when he saw the applause from a campaign rally. It's been a long time, so I think he is turning to his supporters online and sending out messages. And imagine being a 16-year-old, who apparently one of the persons was, to suddenly be picked out and sent out by Donald Trump. It must be exhilarating for this person, and I think Donald Trump is sort of gaining some, it's how he can be in a rally in Trump Tower, but he's the president-elect.
Mark Preston, it's interesting. He starts on Thursday in Cincinnati, a thank you tour of sorts. He's going to have another rally, probably a lot of rallies between now and January 20th when he's inaugurated as the 45th president of the United States. So he's got a lot to do right now, filling up his 4,000 jobs he's got to find for political appointees. But he's going to go back out there and speak at these rallies. What's your analysis?
He's almost tripping over his own message. Just today, for all the criticism and consternation about his cabinet, he has named 3 women of color to serve in very key roles in his administration, yet that's not getting any attention. He's not talking about it. Instead, he's going out and talking about something that's not going to happen. There is no way that there's going to be a constitutional amendment that passes that is going to ban flag burning. That's just not going to happen. At the same time, he's out there talking about voter fraud. He won the election, Wolf. The fact is, he has world leaders calling him every day, multiple times throughout the day, congratulating him and talking to him about some very weighty issues. At the same time, though, he is focused on really these trivial things. And to your point, he goes out and does this rally. I think Jeff is absolutely right. He needs to plug back into that base that gave him all that energy through the campaign.
Yeah, he's certainly energized by those rallies. Thousands and thousands of people show up. SE is going to have dinner tonight with the wives, Mitt Romney. You think it's really realistic, given all the angry words that were exchanged, all the angry words that some of his key base supporters are suggesting? Do you really think it's realistic he could ask Mitt Romney to be his Secretary of State?
This palace intrigue is particularly interesting. One of two possibilities here. It can only go one of two ways. He is truly interested in Mitt Romney, and to that I would say kudos for having this open mind and appointing someone who had been your political foe. Or I guess the Machiavellian sort of approach would be to assume he is trying to embarrass Mitt Romney yet again as payback for trashing him for a year and a half. And that's why he's parading him around, taking him out to dinner, very publicly showing him off, sending out Kellyanne Conway to sort of discredit that effort, ultimately to drop him in favor of someone else like Rudy Giuliani. I tend to be less cynical on this, and I think he genuinely is interested in Romney, but I'm open to this other possibility too.
It's anyone's guess right now what's going to emerge. Everybody stand by. There's more coming up. Also, we've got some breaking news. ISIS now claims the Ohio State University attacker was one of its soldiers, as investigators reveal who may have inspired him.